Hi everybody, thank you for tuning in to this labour disability video, and I'm going to introduce you now to Paul Mulhern, who's going to let you know all about his experience of Alzheimer's.
Thanks very much, Jerry. Alzheimer's disease is a brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills, and eventually the ability to carry out the simplest of tasks, which get worse over time. Basically, Alzheimer's disease is a plaque that grows very slowly inside the brain. In most people, Alzheimer's symptoms first appear in later life. I was 75 years of age. Ireland has identified 62,000 people as having Alzheimer's disease, but the probable figure in reality is 2 or 3 times that. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of dementia, a gradual decline in memory, thinking, behaviour and social skills. These changes affect a person's ability to function. The early stages of the disease include forgetting recent events or conversations. Over time, it progresses to serious memory problems and loss of the ability to perform everyday tasks. People with Alzheimer's disease may repeat statements and questions over and over, forget conversations, appointments or events, misplace items, often putting them in place that doesn't make sense, get lost in places they used to know well, eventually forget the names of family members and everyday objects, have trouble finding the right words for objects, expressing thoughts, or taking part in conversations. Brain changes that occur in Alzheimer's disease can affect moods and behaviours. Problems may include the following: depression, loss of interest in activities, social withdrawal, mood swings, distrust in others, anger or aggression, changes in sleeping habits, wandering, loss of inhibitions, delusions such as believing something has been stolen. Despite major changes to memory and skills, people with Alzheimer's disease are able to hold on to some skills, even as symptoms get worse. Preserved skills may include reading, writing, listening to books being read, telling stories, sharing memories, singing, listening to music, dancing, drawing, or doing crafts. These skills may be preserved longer because they are controlled by parts of the brain later in the course of the disease. All of my working life I was absent-minded. I have 50 years of diaries on which I depended on daily to do my work. In 2018, my wife was most upset at me forgetting a most important event, insisting on accompanying me to a visit to my GP. She complained bitterly about my forgetfulness, requesting assistance from him. I was referred to the memory clinic in Tallaght University Hospital. I was immediately advised to participate in exercise classes operated under the name Xwell, and I have attended these to the present day and exercise daily even at 80 years of age. From this first visit in the memory clinic, I was sent to a medical clinic at Trinity College where I had a whole body scan and lumbar puncture. The findings of these tests were that I had a mild cognitive impairment, which several months later were referred to as early Alzheimer's. A son and daughter of mine, who have been legally appointed as my guardians, attended with me at the meeting in the hospital with the lead consultant, whom I was offered a drug trial for my issues. Also at the meeting, I agreed to be available for the drug when it came available and entered into a confidential agreement, my children agreeing on my behalf. The treatment lasted for the whole of 2022 approximately, and I have attended at this hospital and clinic until July of this year. I spent 15 months taking a possible antidote or not, as one never knows whether the pill you are taking is the real one or not. I am fitter now than I was ever since my last game of golf in 2003, and I have Xwell to thank for this. When in discussions, my discussions have always been about me. As I continue to be quite vocal, I've been involved in a couple of TV reports and 2 radio interviews on Alzheimer's. I retired from work as in a managerial position with a major company, and on my retirement I was asked to write a book on one of their major companies, which I did with the assistance of a friend. The book was published in 2006. I've just finished my memoir, which is now in print. My Alzheimer's did cause me some problems writing the memoir, and I had to have it proofread a couple of times. Many of the major hospitals are now or will soon be taking part in trialling of new possible drugs as cures. This gives great hope to the many sufferers of Alzheimer's disease like myself with brain memory issues. But the value of the service we are assisting are out of our state means, and we must have a priority in the access to the proven drugs. We must be treated as partners in these ventures. After all, many of the major hospitals are Department of Health owned, with built facilities and other non-state owned facilities are subsidised greatly by the HSE. Currently, there are 2 companies in the USA selling a cure for $125,000 or thereabouts, and it will take more than one of those sessions of the drug to do the job. It is fair to say that the many countries in the world trialling any of the new Alzheimer's drugs are only on a trials basis. The HSE needs to buy these drugs at a reasonable cost, and that the infrastructure need to be put in place now, as other countries have begun doing this. Finally, I would like to thank my wife Anne and my family for the great care and attention that they have afforded me since my early diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. To my consultants, physicians, doctors, nurses and staff of all the clinics and hospitals I have attended, and to the chairperson of Labour Disability for allowing me to give you a short insight of Alzheimer's disease and how it affects people like me, which is a long, slow process. Thank you all very much.